Continuing now with our special factor coverage, the death of Osama bin Laden. Joining us from Washington, New York, Congressman Peter King, head of the House Homeland Security Committee. So, Congressman, right off the bat, tell me something I don't know. Tell us something we don't know.
Well, I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but you mentioned the fact that we obtained information several years ago, vital information about the courier for Obama. We obtained that information through waterboarding. And so for those who say that waterboarding doesn't work, to say that it should be stopped and never used again, we got vital information which directly led us to bin Laden.
Wow.
Also,
wait, let me stop you there. I did not know that, and I'm sure most of my audience did not at all. Explain how that went down. How did we get that information? Where did it come from? Was it Guantanamo Bay?
It came from an overseas prison where Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was being interrogated, and waterboarding was used, and it was during the interrogation of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed through waterboarding that this information was learned.
So KSM gave it up? Mohammed himself gave it up?
KSM gave us the first lead, and then later on, Al-Libi, who also was a top aide to bin Laden, he was also being interrogated with strong interrogation measures, and he confirmed information about the couriers. So key information we got on a very, very vital part.
That is absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. You're not going to hear that on the other networks, I guarantee you. Now,
also, Bill, I can tell you, I've spoken to people who've seen the pictures of bin Laden, and I wouldn't be surprised if these are made public, because even though he was shot in the face, the wound is not that bad, so it's not going to be scaring people off, and there's not a reason not to show it.
Yeah, they'll have to put them out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have these crazy conspiratorialists and all of that.
Right.
Now, so they waterboard these guys, and they get the name of one of bin Laden's couriers, all right? So he goes on the wanted list, and he goes on to let's find out. And they spot him in Pakistan. And then they follow him around for a couple of years, and he leads them to this compound. Now, let's fast forward up to this weekend. Are you insulted that you didn't know anything about this? Because not only did President Obama not tell the Pakistani authorities, he didn't tell Congress anything about it either. Was that a good move?
Yes, it was. I think the less people know about these, the better. Now, I was told an hour and a half before the president went on television, I was the only members of Congress who was advised of that. No, Bill, because if he tells me, he has to tell others. And once that's out there, I mean, you saw yesterday. Last night, a very few members of Congress were informed, very small number, were informed about 60 minutes to an hour and a half before the president spoke on television. That was all over television within that first hour. It was already being leaked that it was bin Laden who was killed. We were told that under strict confidence, and yet it got out. No, we can't compromise missions. I have no problem with this at all. Now, it's possible the Speaker knew. It's possible maybe the Chairman of the Intelligence Committee knew. But no, I'm not one of these people. My ego is not hurt. I was told before the President spoke. I'll be actually with the President tonight. So, no, I am perfectly satisfied.
And I kind of agree with you. I mean, yeah. I think that any kind of news like this, and remember, I don't think people understand. I did this in Iraq and Afghanistan when I went over there. Obama and his national security team were actually sitting in the White House watching this thing go down. They couldn't go into the compound. You can't set up those kinds of shots. But they saw the choppers go in and all that of flying, so they're watching it go down. But here's something really interesting. On Saturday night, I talked to Leon Panetta, the CIA chief. Now, Panetta, I got to tell you, he was, at the correspondence dinner. He's having a good time. He's this and that. He's yucking it up with me. I've known him forever. These guys are the best actors of all time. The president gets up there, does a little monologue, and he's making fun of everybody. He's having a great old time. And you would never know that the operation was scheduled for that day, Saturday. I mean, these guys were unbelievable actors.
Yeah, well, listen, compartmentalization is very important, and this is what you have to do. I mean, you cannot be putting your heart on your sleeve. You can't be engaging in psychobabble and letting the whole world know what agony you're going through. And that's why I think it's really wrong, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, when they go out of their way to take cheap personal shots at the president. It's okay to criticize his policies, but they are going through incredible stress and strain at all times. And one small mistake, I mean, just think, if the president had made the wrong decision when he okayed this mission, you could have had civilians killed, you could have had Navy SEALs wiped out, you could have had an international disaster.
It was a daring mission, very complicated mission. Now, your committee this week is holding hearings on Pakistan. Now, am I wrong what I just said in the talking points memo? Those people, you can't trust those people over there. Some of them like us and help us, but there's no way that the president could have called the president of Pakistan and said, we're coming in. No way on earth that could have happened.
No, Bill Clinton did the right thing in 1998 when he told Pakistan that he was going to fire rockets over their country to get bin Laden, and the ISI, the Pakistani intelligence agency, tipped off bin Laden. We can't make that mistake again. Pakistan is complicated, but you're right. The bottom line is, as a government, they cannot be trusted. There are some people you can, others you can't. But when it comes to American lives and American death, we don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury of hoping that the person we give the information to is going to be on our
sure,
side.
Especially
so
because it took 4 years to track this guy into this and it was 100 yards away from a Pakistani military base. We're going to get to that in a moment. All right, Congressman, we appreciate your and it's really a blockbuster headline about that waterboarding stuff. Very interesting. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, Fox News alert right now as we continue to get word from the White House now about this relationship between the U.S. and Pakistan. And did Islamabad know it was giving shelter to the world's most wanted man? Here's John Brennan, runs the White House Counterterrorism Unit, says it's something they are looking into and have not dismissed.
I think it's inconceivable that bin Laden did not have a support system in the country that allowed him to remain there for an extended period of time. I am not going to speculate about what type of support he might have had on an official basis inside of Pakistan. We are closely talking to the Pakistanis right now, and again, we are leaving open opportunities to continue to pursue whatever leads might be out there.
I want to get direct reaction now. New York Congressman Peter King, Republican chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee. And sir, good morning to you, and thank you for your time. What do you think about that position right now with Pakistan? What are we to understand and make of it, sir?
Well, Bill, I'll actually be meeting behind closed doors in my office today with the Pakistani ambassador. These are the most serious questions. That bin Laden could have been living in that mansion, in that structure, for 6 years, we believe he was there. That was an outside structure. It was different from all the other buildings in that area. It's right near the Pakistani military academy, right near an intelligence headquarters. There are many retired military and intelligence officials living all around that mansion.
So you're casting suspicion then. You sound like you don't believe the Pakistanis.
No, I believe that somebody in their government, somebody in their structure, somebody in the intelligence apparatus, the military apparatus, had to know that bin Laden was there and had to be providing some support for him. It's impossible to believe that with the sophisticated intelligence agency and military apparatus that Pakistan has, that they could have the most notorious criminal in the world living in plain sight, right in front of them, and not know about it.
You know the president, right, Zardari?
Yes, well, I met him, yes.
You've met him, right? You don't know him well, though. He wrote in the Washington Post today. He wrote a lot, by the way, in this op-ed. Here is just one line. Such baseless speculation may make exciting cable news, but it does not reflect fact.
Well, let me tell you where President Zardari is really hurting himself there. This isn't just cable news. It's not just me. I can tell you, I've spoken to people in the highest levels of our government, and they are extremely concerned. And Pakistan should also realize that many members in Congress are raising serious questions. Why should we be giving $3 billion a year to Pakistan if they can't capture the world's most notorious terrorists living right in their midst? Now, I believe we have to maintain a relationship with Pakistan. I want to do it, but it's becoming harder and harder to continue it under these circumstances, because I don't know of anyone in the administration who believes what President Zardari is saying.
Well, Zardari had his wife killed by terrorists. I mean, if anyone understands the threat of terrorism, it would be him. It's affected his family and changed his life.
Benazir Bhutto was assassinated, but the fact is Zardari, in many ways, is not even a serious player in Pakistan today. Basically, it's the military and the ISI,
the military and the intelligence agency, yeah.
Right.
I want to get to two other topics quickly here. Can you say again what you told Bill O'Reilly last night based on fact, that the information on this courier that led the Navy SEALs Osama bin Laden was gained through intelligence that was gathered by waterboarding? Do you stand by that?
Yes, the initial information on the courier was obtained by waterboarding back in 2003. That's when this person first came on the radar screen. Without that information that was obtained by waterboarding, they would not be aware of this courier, and not just from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was waterboarded, but also interrogation of al-Libi, who was captured later. He also provided
just
additional
stop one
information.
moment. Donald Rumsfeld did an interview yesterday and said that's not true. It did not come from waterboarding.
Well, I can tell you that I've spoken to people who are very familiar with the situation, who were in the intelligence community at that time. They brought this to my attention. They were there. They have firsthand information. They have access. No reflection of Don Rumsfeld, who I have a great respect for, but I'm telling you that people who are on the ground, people who are in a position to know, they told me that.
Okay. On the photos, do you expect them to be released? Because the suggestion I heard from you earlier was that it's not as graphic or perhaps as gruesome as many might think. Now, do you have that on good fact?
Yes, I've spoken to people who have seen the photos. They say that while you do see the bullet wound in the face and there's a certain swelling of the face, it is not a horribly gross photo.
But you
haven't
haven't
seen it.
seen
would not
them.
offend people. I know I've not. And I said that last night. I've not seen it, but I've spoken to people who have seen it, and they told me that it's not that bad, and that I just also, from what I understand, I believe the photo will be released of his face. Yes.
Okay, and possibly even today. I mean, there is some speculation that the debate continues, and perhaps it comes at any moment.
I can't say on that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Peter King, thank you. We'll speak very soon again, all right? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
On the Hill.
Thank you.
Allison.